But when I was DMing this one time, one of my it's a safe haven, like a tavern and shit, and they were behind some walls and whatever. And the person who let them in was like a very powerful guy. One of my players during the dinner was like, yeah, I'm gonna go pee, you know, and then he leaves, excuses himself from the table. He went into one of his nearby towers, went to the basement, and I'm like, none of this I had seen coming. So I mean, from the moment he got up from the table, for me, it was all improv. Like I had no idea what the fuck to do. But that's the part I love the most. When your players are having you improv or making you like think on your feet, the best. But here's what happened. This guy is looting, and I'm like, okay, well, he's looting, and me as a DM, I'm very generous. I like to reward my players, especially if thinking of outside the box shit like that. I tend to reward them, and so I'm like, okay, well, it'd be really stupid if you found nothing because I didn't prepare anything. So let's say, obviously, this guy is rich. He was an ex-explorer, so he's gonna have some riches in the basement of his tower, right? So I put some boxes there. I imagine some boxes, and you know, as a DM, that's why in the DM book they have a fucking random table of magical items or any kind of items, just like that. So I rolled on one of these tables for some. At first, I did valuables, right? I was gonna do some valuables and then maybe one or two magic items. So I did that. Valuables I did. I rolled a D100. What came up was 64,000 rubies and gems. I'm like, all right, that's crazy, but you know, I'm thinking about it realistically, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, okay, I'm gonna make him shove as many as he can in his bag and whatever without being inconspicuous. It can't be that many. Until he goes on to the next crate, and I roll the magic item that I said I was gonna do in my head. A bag of holding, dude. And if you know what the bag of holding, ha, that's the one thing, dude, that he was not supposed to fucking find at that moment, and he did. So he found a bag of holding, and mom, I'm sure you can assume the bag of holding is just unlimited holding. It's a pocket
Yeah.
dimension, and it's a bag, and it doesn't look like anything but besides a bag. And you put his fucking. There's a limit. There's a 500-pound limit, but I mean, I just kind of, you know, chalked it up to, all right, you got me. I was excited for him, but also as a DM, I'm like, oh no, oh my god, what do I do? So to work around that and not tank my economy, not tank the economy, um, I inserted the Zintar, a what do you call it, like a shadow system of like thieves, and I put an agent in my town all of a sudden, because why not? And so there was a specific place where you go to exchange your loot, like specifically like that, like gems, gold, anything you might have mined around the town, or sorry, the mountains. He goes to exchange all that shit, and I make him. This is what. So he was trying to get all that money, and he ran into the Zintarm agent, and he says, "Yeah, I have he basically explains the whole scenario. Like, I have all these gems. I'm trying to exchange them for all this money." She says, "Wow, that's amazing. I would like to invite you into," and she basically tells him, "I would like to invite you into the Zentarum," and so he was interested, of course, because why wouldn't you be? she explained further that she had a plan to take over the town because the town mayor, it was part of the whole campaign that the town mayor was just a piece of shit, and it was an option for them to take over the town. So I'm like, oh, I can play this into that sideline, into that storyline. So far, so good, right? But no, I'm like, I didn't really want him to have all that money still himself. So I kind of did a shitty thing and just took it all from him by saying in the Zentarum agent character, so give me all the gems and meet me out back because we cannot do this under the exchange, the currency exchange, yada yada yada. This is all going to be under the table. He's like, okay. Gave it to her. He went out back to meet her, and lo and behold, she just wasn't there. She just was not there. So him freaking out, of course. Funny thing is too, he was alone. You never split up the party. But he was alone. The party was in the town close by, but not. And he started like looking around. Obviously, he's like, can I look for, footprints? So yeah, he looked for footprints. He nailed it. He nailed the check. And so he saw some footprints walking off out of the town. She was nowhere to be seen. He was out there in the back of the exchange, fucking dumbfounded. Where's my bag? Where is she? So yeah, he is freaking out, sees the footprints, goes back to the rest of the group and the party. They run out into the forest where they have a fight. They actually catch up to the Zentarum because they had some good trackers. The party was good at tracking them, and they were playing this well. Like I said, this was in a peak moment in my fucking campaign. Out of all the shit that yeah, all of this was spur of the moment. I had none of this written down. Like as a DM, sometimes you'll prep shit, but to a certain extent, you can't like write a book and then have them expect to follow line by line what you wrote down. Going completely off the cuff. These guys are running into the forest, and they catch up to them and they get into a fight. The main chick who has the there was like a Zentarum camp around. Again, I'm making this shit up on the fly. I'm like, okay, well, if there's a Zentarum agent here, there has to be like a camp where she goes and, outside the town where she reports to her company, shit like that. There's a group of them. They have a fight. It gets kind of close. It gets kind of hairy because they're all fucking assassins. What do you know? They hit hard. The first agent who stole the bag managed to get away because again, I'm playing this in my head as the character. What would the character do if she sees she's losing the battle? She's gonna get the but if she can get the fuck out of danger, she's gonna do that. And so she did. She got the fuck out of there while they were almost dying from her comrades, and left her comrade to die. That Zentarum agent, and it was crazy. And so she fucking got away with all those gems. That's not where it ends though. Yeah, I decided that wasn't good enough. I felt like I said, I don't know if you heard this, Storm, but I felt bad as the DM for doing all that because the person in question was new. He was new to D&D. This was his first campaign. I was his first DM. He had known nothing about the game before. He just decided to join. He was kind of like a friend of a friend, but again, he was playing the game very well, and he liked it. So I felt bad that he was so trusting, of course, because like, why would your DM lie to you? Why would he mislead? Fast forward to the end of the campaign. This was like in the middle of the campaign. Fast forward all the way to the end of the campaign. They're gonna fight the big dragon that's terrorizing the town, right? This is the pinnacle of the fucking campaign, the end of the campaign. They go to the dragon, and it's just the dragon. It's just the dragon fight. Yeah, boss fight, exactly. Last boss fight, but it's just the dragon, and I felt like they can wipe this dragon out pretty easy. And then I thought I got to do something, and then I thought about this Intarm agent. Oh shit! What if I bring her back? You know, like they're thorough. They're very thorough. They would eliminate all loose ends and shit like that. So if she's going to use these gems, she can't have someone claiming that those are his gems or something like that. So she goes and finds them. So she gathered a group. She's waiting at the Ice Spire Peak in the castle where the dragon resided because A, she wanted to kill the dragon as well with her group and take the treasure hoard that the dragon, has. And B, she caught wind that these adventurers were going after the dragon. So boom, perfect place to find them. She finds them. The reaction that my players had when I told them who it was the best moment I've ever had as a DM, I think. It was great. It was a great fight. My daughter was actually in that fight. She was in the... It was great. It was amazing. It was awesome. But they did eventually kill her. Got the bag back. But it was at the end of the campaign. So I was like, whew, didn't have to do anything with all the money, and they live happily ever after with all the fucking riches,